Hello YouTube, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. We have a question here from YouTube user Norma de Plume 9930, who says, how can we increase the amount of employment attorneys since we can't decrease the amount of abuse? The rejections are from being booked full, not from having bad cases. I'm speaking from chatting with dozens of litigants, both federal and non-federal employees. ¿Dónde estás abogados? Los abogados están en el bar. And you can take bar either way. Bar association or otherwise. Listen, this is a great question, Norma. And it's something that I've thought about because it's a situation in our industry where a lot of firms don't seem to really be able to afford to train attorneys. And our firm can, but we've had so many of the attorneys we've paid to train go work defense side, go work corporate, in-house jobs. It can be tough. Because over the course of training someone, you pay them, hundreds of thousands of dollars, frankly. That's what it costs to make an employment attorney. I start coughing as soon as I start making a video. It makes no sense. So I guess it does make sense. I'm talking, I'm using my voice, so I start coughing. But back to my point. So you get a first year attorney, a little baby attorney straight out of law school. They're not really capable of much, if I'm being honest. Now, I'm not slamming first year attorneys out of law school are tremendous. They're learning so much. They're doing very difficult things, adapting rapidly to a very strange world, in which law school has done nothing to train them for. Law school is not particularly valuable or meritorious for litigation attorneys, especially for complex litigation attorneys, on the plaintiff side, I would say. So first year attorneys are doing so much to learn and become amazing, but they require so much supervision and so much teaching. And while they're receiving all that supervision, all that teaching and hand-holding, they need to earn serious money because they have, generally speaking, very serious student loans, a lot of debt from law school. And they live in expensive places like, say, New York City, which has a bonkers cost of living. Even studio apartments, really aggressively mediocre studio apartments go for $3,500 here a month. And that's considered a deal. So it's tough. It's tough. You got to pay the first years well, even though they need a lot of hand-holding and supervision and training. And second years, they're way more capable. They know a lot more, no question. But you got to pay them a lot more. And so by the time you get a fully functioning third or fourth year associate in the realm of employment law, you're probably $300K plus invested in that person's training. And that's just really compensation, CLEs, doesn't even count the value of the time, partner time spent training them up, or even senior associate time spent training them up, or time off work, vacation time, extra, paying for admittances to federal courts, to other jurisdictions, other states, or time for them to go and get admitted to federal court, whatever it is. There's a lot that goes into it. And that adds up. And the problem is there's just not enough employment attorneys nationwide on either side of the bench. There's not enough defense attorneys, and there's not enough plaintiff side attorneys. But what happens is defense firms offer guaranteed money, right? 300, 400, 500K guaranteed. You get paid that money whether you win or you lose. So a lot of people working plaintiff side will say, hey, I've got all this really good training. I'm a really hyper capable employment attorney. I came up on the plaintiff side, so I have a lot more experience, exponentially more experience than a defense side attorney would have in their third or fourth year. Like in their third or fourth year, a defense side attorney might be handling their first deposition, right? Whereas like a third year or a fourth year associate on the plaintiff side, worlds beyond that. Like not even a question. It is. I've actually met like fifth and sixth year employment defense attorneys who've just done doc review the entire time. A little bit of motion drafting and doc review. That's it. And like, it's easy for me to sit here and say like, oh, you're a robot. You're not very capable. You're not. It's not going. Your career's not going well. But their rejoinder would be, you're right. You're right. I'm just gonna go ahead and laugh all the way to the bank with my guaranteed like $380K. You're right. I'm not gonna make partner here. But I'm going to earn good, solid money, be very comfortable, and I don't have to win anything. I don't have to do trials to get paid. I just get paid no matter what. As long as the clients pay the bills, the firm pays me. And that's a fair point. It's a fair point. So, you know, I don't look down on those folks doing doc review. It's a living. It's not a living that I would care for, but you know, it's respectable. And listen, people got families to take care of. People, it is what it is. Small firm life can be a little chaotic compared to a giant white shoe firm. It's a reality, right? We know that's true. We know that because I think in 2024, 9 plaintiff side firms in New York City went under in the realm of employment law. Those firms had employees. Those employees received termination notices like, hey, the firm's going under. Sorry, we can't pay you anymore. Excuse me. Now, certainly that's not our firm. And the bulk of firms don't go under, but that's a lot of folks who got fired because small firms were extinguished last year, right? So it is, there's a lot of things pushing people from the plaintiff side to the defense side. So neither side has enough attorneys, but the issue is far more acute. The lack of attorneys is far more acute on the plaintiff side, in my opinion, in my experience. And to Norma's question, how do we get more attorneys into the realm of employment law? And you might say, well, we need to get them on the plaintiff side. I would say this. You don't want to force people who are not well suited to plaintiff side life into the plaintiff side representation. You don't, because it takes a special kind of person to only get paid when they win. To bet tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands on a case, and only have even a shot at breaking even if they win. Right? That is very hard. So I don't think we should be like steering people just to plaintiff side. What I think we should be doing is getting more employment attorneys in general. And if we do that, there'll be less desire on the defense side to be hiring in plaintiff side attorneys, although they'll still need to do that for their trial attorneys. The defense side kind of funnel of attorneys, they don't tend to train trial attorneys in the same fashion. There's not as many repetitions as a trial attorney would get on a plaintiff side firm, generally speaking. And it's also, even if you're doing trials, you're doing it in big teams, so you don't get to touch as many pieces of the trial, and that can slow down learning in my view. So they're always going to be hiring their trial attorneys out of the plaintiff side. That's just necessary. That's just big white shoe firms don't really tend to create talented trial attorneys. There's a few. Don't get me wrong. There's exceptions to prove every rule. But generally speaking, all the great trial attorneys were plaintiff side attorneys first, and then were lured by massive amounts of money and or equity to the defense side. So we're never going to stop them stealing trial attorneys, but that's okay. We can train enough trial attorneys. That's not an issue. But if there's just enough attorneys in general, it would end up with the folks who are well suited at defense work working in defense, which is good, right? Defense attorneys exist primarily to cut checks for our clients, right? Like in a field with a settlement rate as high as it is, the primary function of defense counsel is to triage, like stop retaliation, do compliance work. We've had Eric Sarver on the channel. He teaches employers how to do the right thing, which is amazing. And then 3, to cut checks for our clients. When things go wrong, they're trying to cut that settlement check. That's the reality of the industry. So nobody hates the defense attorneys. They're good folks, generally speaking. Listen, sometimes they represent the scum of the earth, right? By the same token, I think I've represented some fairly bad human beings here and there. Like people that I believed wholeheartedly who years later I'm like, I don't know. Put up a win for that one, but I now am not so sure that I should have, right? So, I don't fault the defense counsel for representing some very bad folks. Everyone needs representation. That's inherent in our system. And generally speaking, the defense attorneys are doing good work and good things and advancing the world forward. Like it's not like defense attorneys become defense attorneys. They're like, I just love rape. Rape is good. Like that's generally not what's happening. No, listen, there are definitely people who go around and being like, oh, that woman asked for it. You look at her skirt, rah, right? Like, and those people are gross, right? That's a gross behavior. But most of them are like, yeah, rape's really bad, and let's get into this company, our client's company, and like do things to head that off at the pass. Make sure it doesn't happen. Like this Christmas party with the open bar, where everybody gets drunk. Like, what's this drinking culture? Like, it's a disaster every year. Horrible things happen. Let's shut it down. Let's stop it. Right? Like, it's just enough already. Why do we value this Christmas party so much that like it's resulting in sexual assaults plural? That's not a good trade, right? Like that lives are being ruined. Lives are being ruined. So people can have mistletoe and drink too much. And the defense counsel would step in and be like, hey, stupid, let's not be so stupid, right? And that's a good and valuable thing. But I digress. So we need more attorneys, Norma. To your point, we need more attorneys in general. And I don't know if the word is really out about employment law, but I will say plaintiff side employment law, even employment law in general, is the best way to turn attention to detail and aggression into money that you can imagine. I'm not aware of any other industry that can reliably turn aggression and attention to detail and creativity into cold hard cash in the same way that employment law can. And you can help people while you do it, which feels good. So you get a really high level of compensation, and that's coupled, shockingly, very rarely, with a high level of personal satisfaction. You get to feel good about what you did at the end of the day, while just stacking bricks of cash, right? That's great. That's amazing. People are immediately going to be like, oh, med mal and PI make more money. True. Cases are more valuable in personal injury and medical malpractice. That is 100% true. Cases are also harder to come by. If you want to be an employment attorney, you could have, look at the chat section on the video this comment came from, which the video is entitled, let's pull it up so you can go and actually do that. The video is entitled, loading. Oh, stupid video name. I'm back from the French Alps, and here's what to expect on the channel this week. But it's full of people being like, yo, I can't get an attorney. You had a video yesterday about how people can't get attorneys, even if they have good cases. Like, I want representation now. I need representation right now. And I think we, like, understand something. if you are an attorney with a reasonable ability to litigate cases, just even a general litigator, and you open an employment law practice tomorrow, you can easily have 50 clients in a month. There is no shortage of plaintiffs who want to hire attorneys in the world of employment law nationwide. And other firms will try to give you cases. One of the biggest time sucks in my career, my working life, is declining cases. And, if you don't want a case, it's really easy to be like, hey, I don't want your case. Here's why. But if it's instead, hey, you have a good case, it's just not one of the 450 best cases I think I'll see this year, that's harder. That's super hard because what you're telling that person is, I think you were wronged. I think bad people did bad things to you. And I have this war chest where I've saved up enough money to help 450 people a year with their cases. And I think you were wronged. But there's something about your case that makes it not the best case. And although I think it'll win, I think it's valuable, I think it's a good case, I think attorneys should take your case, it's not going to make the cut for us because we get all the best cases. They tend to call us, right? There's a few firms who get all the best cases. Wigdor gets a lot of great cases. Gloria Allred gets a lot of great cases. We get a lot of great cases. And, there's a few others. And that creates a weird situation because when you get all the best cases or many of the best cases, you're going to end up taking the top 1% of cases. But there's all those people below the 1% with really good cases that you're kind of saying hey, I actually can't help you, and my insurance company won't even let me refer you to other attorneys because they think it gives me liability. So I have to just say no thank you. People get angry. Rightfully so, right? That's hard. I really do want to find a way to refer those cases out to help more people. But it's hard because so many states have issues with that. And then the malpractice insurance companies are like, no, you can't do that. You're going to have liability. What if they do something bad? You don't have control of that firm. Which is, a fair point. But when people call us, it's just yeah, good case. Not good enough. Can't help you. See you later. That's horrific. But it is the position we're kind of forced into. Because I'm not going to just go hire attorneys that, listen, could I hire 10 more attorneys? I would love to. Certainly, I would be thrilled if I could, but I would only hire 10 more attorneys if there were 10 attorneys who are going to run the cases the way this firm has decided cases should be run, right? You're not going to hire 10 mediocre attorneys and be like, okay, we've started 2 classes of cases. We have really, really good cases that go to our really good attorneys, and then we have pretty good cases that go to our mediocre attorneys. That doesn't sound good at all. That sounds terrible. That sounds like a disaster. Sounds really scary to me because you're doing mediocre work now on people's lives. And you might be out there being like, yeah, but they're going to hire some other firm and that other firm might be mediocre. I guess, but we don't know they're going to hire a mediocre firm. They might hire an amazing firm. We've had a lot of amazing attorneys on this channel, right? That we've done collaborations with all over the country who I think are amazing, So I don't love the idea of using our brand to place cases with lesser, not even lesser, just non-ideal attorneys who aren't going to do things exactly the way we think they should be done. So I can't just hire attorneys because I can't find as many attorneys as I want to hire who will really do things the way I want. Which is all just to kind of lay out the predicament that Norma has put before us. How do we get more attorneys? We got to get the word out. You can be your own boss, take 45, 50 cases a year, and be a pretty legitimate top 2% earner in the country from like the first year as an employment attorney. Like that is viable. That can be done. Let's not forget though, like listen, 9 firms went out of business in New York 2024. 9 plaintiff side firms. Most of those were firms that had made a lot of money at some point, but maybe weren't so smart with the money. Real issue in this industry. Or, you know, a key player in the firm passes away or gets sick or decides he or she really likes nose candy or partially retire. Who knows, right? Or just has like a drinking problem, right? A lot of issues. So, you know, you do have to be smart. You can't just open up a shop and say, I'm wealthy now. You got to be smart. But listen, if you're opening an employment law firm, I'll put together a primer for you. It is not hard. Especially that first $500,000 a year. You almost have to like, let me say this correctly. You almost have to try to fail as a solo employment attorney taking cases. You'd have to try to fall short of $500,000 a year. If you're really working, if you're going in every day, 5 days a week, really working, and like, let me stress, 5 days a week truly, not working weekends unless you have a trial coming up. Like Friday, 6 p.m., you go home, you only answer calls that are emergencies, and like you don't hear any of this bullshit like, it's an emergency because I'm sad. Call me Monday. It's an emergency because I'm going to be fired and like I work on weekends. Okay, let's talk. Right? These are very different things. Especially for a solo attorney. Right? Like that's hard for them to hop on every call because clients don't care. Clients will call you at 4 a.m. and be like, why didn't you pick up? I'm a solo litigator. I'm on trial tomorrow. You called me at 4 a.m. on a complete waste of time question that was not an emergency. I'm not going to pick up. Right? That's how you got to do it to some extent. And listen, it can be hard to scale. It can be hard to scale. But that first $500K a year, 50 cases, taking your percentage, I presume, you know, somewhere between 33 and 40%. Whatever you can get as a young attorney or a new attorney of the field. It would take effort, in my opinion, to fall short if you had your own shop. Real effort and like a bit of stupidity and a little bit of self-loathing to fall short. It's just an industry where, I mean, if you're helping people, you make money. The end, right? And if we can get that out to young people, to young attorneys, to law students, to attorneys who are unhappy in other fields, I think we'll get more attorneys in our industry. And we do want that. Will I eventually make less money if we added, 10,000 employment attorneys to the nation on the plaintiff side? Sure. I'll be fine. I'm not worried about it, right? Like it's okay. In fact, I would say all the big names, far bigger than my own, will be just fine. Nobody needs to be afraid of a little competition from some newbies joining the industry. We should all be happy. We should be the wind beneath their wings, helping them develop their practices. We have a trial firm going live. Not our firm. I know of a trial firm going live in September 2025. They're building it up right now. They're getting everything in place. And it's like, well, great. Can we send them some people? You know, can we send them some clients without a referral arrangement? But just like, can we send them people to help them get off the ground and get moving and get going and like that'd be good. It'd be really good. It'd make me happy, you know? And they're good attorneys. They're good trial attorneys. Between the two of them, like hundreds of repetitions at trials. Many different kinds of trials. I'm not talking about federal litigation here, but like a lot of trial expertise, a lot of trial experience, and they could help a lot of people with just a little support. So Norma, I think that's what we got to do. It's up to me as much as it's up to you. Probably more up to me. You got folks like Marjorie Mesidor. She's running I think she's investing in people's law school, getting them through law school, getting them like up and running as attorneys. That's huge. That's amazing. We've made that offer to people a couple times over the years. Every time we've made that offer, like, hey, can we like front your law school? People have taken a pass. And they'll say things like, yeah, you know, I appreciate it. I like what I do as a non-attorney. And, you know, I understand, you know, you guys make good money, but like your clients do treat you like shit, or your life is a nightmare, or you're constant. It looks like you're gambling hundreds of thousands of dollars on these cases. And it's like, well, sure. Like all that causes anxiety. Yeah. But if the game was easy, everybody would do it, you know? And that's what employment law is. It's if you're careful and smart about it, it's a tremendous way to make money. If you're not, it's a really good way to be homeless. Anyways, Norma, I hope this answers your question. I agree with you. I hope you find representation. And if this video has any value to anyone or pushes anyone to go to law school, comment down below. Tell us about it. Like, subscribe. Do all the things. Help our channel to grow. Take care, everybody.